Now at 10, hundreds forced from their homes tonight along the Wasatch Front. This is wildfire comes dangerously close to those homes. We're live from the front lines with a report. And officials continue to voice their concerns as cases of COVID rise across the U.S., including right here in Utah.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News at 10 starts now.
And good evening, I'm Nick McGurk. Thank you for joining us tonight at 10. Right now, roughly 100 firefighters are trying to get the Crestwood fire under control. It's burning at the base of Mill Creek Canyon in Salt Lake County. ABC4's Nicole Newman joins us live from there now. And Nicole, we know there were evacuations earlier. What's the latest as far as people being evacuated from their homes?
Well, Nick, first, right now, that fire has been mapped at about 10 acres, and this just in within the last 10 minutes. Roughly about 45 firefighters will stay on scene overnight to monitor flames. Now, this is video from earlier today as crews dropped fire retardant on the flames from the air. Here's what it looked like from the ground as crews were responding. The good news is the spread of the fire is slowing significantly and no homes or structures are being threatened. However, shortly after it started around 5:30, crews ordered mandatory evacuations of Mill Creek Canyon. Officers started from the top and worked their way to the bottom, alerting people they needed to leave.
We do have multiple aircraft on scene. We have 2 helicopters, 2 single-engine air tankers. We have a helitat crew. We have hot shots. Lone Peak hot shots are also here. We also have Camp Williams crews here, Unified Fire, South Salt Lake, and Salt Lake City Fire Department.
Now, it was around 8:30 this evening when we were told those evacuations were lifted. Fire officials tell us it was more or less a precautionary measure. Live in Salt Lake County, Nicole Newman, ABC4 News.
Okay, Nicole, that is really good to hear for those homeowners. Obviously a very scary thing to be evacuated. We are also tracking 2 new fires in Tooele. The first fire at 5 Mile Pass, it's been named the Pony Fire. It was mapped at 4.3 acres. In the last 10 minutes, we learned the fire has been contained. We're told that fire was human caused. The other fire burning tonight is named the Poverty Point Fire. It's on the south end of the Lakeside Mountains, and we're told this one started at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Mapped at over 308 acres, though. Forward progression, we're told, has been stopped. And investigators tell us it was a human-caused fire from using firearms in an area of dry vegetation, of which there's plenty right now. We're taking a live look here at some flashing lights. What are we looking at? It is a 2-alarm fire still burning in South Salt Lake. We've reached out. We're still waiting on details. But the details that we do know, call coming in just after 7:15 tonight this evening. 3100 South, 900 West. Several fire stations from South Salt Lake as well as other cities have responded to this fire. Obviously, this is something they're taking very seriously. We'll bring you the latest as soon as we learn more, either in this newscast or online at abc4.com. Meteorologist Adam Carroll joins us now. Adam, no surprise, right? It's hot out, it's dry out, but we don't like to see these fires.
No, we don't. And unfortunately, we're continuing to have the issues of them being human caused when we can avoid that. But when we're this hot and we're even got a slight breeze and we've got dry vegetation, it takes nothing to start a fire, as we saw today with multiple ones. And this is what we have going on for the next several days, beginning tomorrow at noon through 9 p.m. Tuesday. Red flag warning and conditions. We have hot temperatures, low relative humidity, dry thunderstorms, dry vegetation, and gusty winds all coming into play here over the next several days. We've got a large area of isolated dry thunderstorms heading into tomorrow, on top of the elevated risk from St. George all the way to Rock Springs. Most of the Wasatch Front is out of it, but it doesn't matter. Even if we're not in a red flag or we have red flag conditions, it doesn't mean we can't see these new fire starts. We still have these heat advisories here for southeastern Utah, excessive heat warnings for Lake Powell and southwestern Utah for the St. George area. We have this huge dome of high pressure and a heat dome in place, bringing in these triple-digit heat. And the heat potential for the next several days, we're going into a 4, and that just means that overnight lows are warm, daytime highs are very, very hot, and we have no relief over these next couple of days. So we have to break down the full forecast coming up with some relief in the forecast.
Okay, we're looking forward to that, Adam. Thank you very much. Now to the latest on COVID-19. This coronavirus pandemic continues, and the Utah Department of Health reports 5 more people have died from coronavirus. This as they report 632 new cases of COVID-19 across our state. Our death total is now 212. The total number of positive cases is now 28,855 statewide since this pandemic began. We did mention this yesterday. Hospitalization rates are also a concern. 203 people are currently hospitalized with COVID. That's an increase of 21 people since the pandemic began. 16,897 are considered recovered. And with these extremely hot summer days, the obvious draw for so many of us is the swimming pool. But here's the question: how safe are they for you and your family? So we reached out to the Department of Health here in Utah about what you need to know as some pools have reopened for the summer.
So the biggest risk really in going to a situation like a public pool is going to be the time that you spend close to one another's on the pool deck. So lounging around in chairs, sitting on blankets on the grass or on the concrete of the side of the pool. Chlorine is typically really effective at killing viruses and bacteria in water. The COVID-19 virus is a new virus, and there's still a lot that we don't know about it. So we don't know exactly how it responds to chlorine, but traditional thinking would lead you to believe that chlorine could be effective in killing the virus in the water.
The best advice with all this that we know and don't know: even if you're outside, you should social distance and wear a mask. Meantime, we're following the latest COVID-19 numbers coming out of the Navajo Nation tonight. They report 56 new cases and 10 new deaths as a 57-hour lockdown is underway. So far, the Navajo Nation case count is nearly 8,100 cases. Their death toll has reached 396. So far, 5,781 people have recovered from COVID-19. And the Navajo Nation's 57-hour weekend lockdown, as we talked about, it started yesterday at 8 o'clock p.m. and goes until Monday morning at 5 a.m. All businesses on the Navajo Nation are also required to close during that entire time to help prevent travel among residents and visitors. We're told the number of COVID-19 cases is flattening in the Navajo Nation, but there are still some hot spots. And cases continue to rise, not just here in Utah, but across the United States. Concerns also continuing to mount as our case number here reaches more than 3,239,000, while our death toll begins to near the 135,000 mark. Meantime, 17 states are seeing an increase in COVID-19 deaths, with 30 reporting a rise in hospitalizations. That includes Utah, that includes Arizona and Nevada. New data from the CDC shows the death toll for Hispanics and non-whites under 65, it's more than twice as high in comparison to whites in the same age group.
I think when you're in a hospital, especially in that particular setting where you're talking to a lot of soldiers and people that in some cases just got off the operating tables, I think it's a great thing to wear a mask.
The nation witnessing today something it has never seen before in public in the fight against coronavirus. You saw it right there. Video showing President Donald Trump wearing a mask in public at Walter Reed National Military Center this afternoon. Now, aides helped convince the president wearing a mask would set a positive example and help depoliticize the issue. It's something other members of the Republican Party have really also been saying lately.
There is no good argument for any of us to not be wearing a mask.
Even with the efforts of his aides and recommendations of his experts, the president implied this will not be a regular look, saying, quote, "I've never been against masks, but I do believe they have a time and place." Now, child care for essential workers is a hot topic during this pandemic. It's dwindled to less than 50% of what it was. Some experts worry about the future of this industry. This is a big deal for so many reasons, and one of them, there's an argument out there that without adequate child care for working parents, there's really no robust economic recovery. With more now, ABC's Karen Travers.
So I am here at my daughter's daycare, and that's it. You know, they're closing.
Diana Lamanji says she is heartbroken. She couldn't hold back her emotion as she packed up her 3-year-old daughter's things from her now closed childcare center.
It's a beautiful space, and both my kids went here, so I'm really, really sad.
Lamanji and many working parents are learning firsthand a tough reality. The coronavirus pandemic is pushing the nation's childcare industry to the brink of collapse.
Childcare is a top concern for millions of working parents. If you have to go back to the office and your childcare center is closed, what do you do? Experts say this is a key piece of the puzzle to fully reopening the U.S. economy.
Nationwide, nearly half of childcare providers completely closed their facilities during the COVID-19 shutdowns, according to research cited by childcare experts. Of those that stayed open, 85% are operating with less than half of their usual child enrollment. The outlook for the industry is grim. One study found that roughly half of U.S. childcare capacity is at risk of disappearing.
Childcare is in a crisis moment right now.
Circle Time is a childcare center in Kensington, Maryland. It's stayed open during the COVID-19 shutdowns because it serves essential workers. But their numbers went from a full enrollment of 78 children to, at one point, just 9.
We sent out an email just asking parents to pay what they could in order to hold their spots if they weren't coming in.
Child care centers are expensive to operate. Now throw in the additional costs of the new normal in the coronavirus pandemic. PPE, sanitizer, deep cleanings. The $2 trillion CARES Act, a federal COVID-19 relief package, included nearly $60 billion for the airline industry. But just $3.5 billion was set aside for child care providers. Democratic Senator Patty Murray introduced legislation to put $50 billion in federal funding toward this critical industry.
I'm just saying to my fellow colleagues, just ask any friends you have with kids what is their biggest issue right now, and this is it.
I asked Gigi Serrano, how long can Circle Time hang on without full enrollment and more government help?
We'll probably be good until about September, but beyond that, it's really just going to depend. It's a long time to ask families to contribute when there's really no actual end date.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Kensington, Maryland.
So many effects of this pandemic. Now, following a spike in coronavirus cases across Nevada, their governor has ordered bars in certain Nevada counties to go back to phase 1 of their reopening plan. Under the new directive, those in affected counties that don't serve food, they have to shut down immediately, entirely. Those that do serve food will have to step back a phase. Customers can still be seated for meals, but drinks will not be allowed to congregate, drinkers that is, in the bar area. Now, former special counsel Robert Mueller is defending his prosecution of Roger Stone. The Washington Post posted an op-ed from Mueller. They did that this evening on its website. Now, the rare editorial comes a day after President Trump commuted Stone's sentence. Stone is a longtime friend of the president. He worked on his campaign, and he was found guilty of witness tampering and obstruction. He's also convicted of lying to Congress. Now, the commutation of his sentence means he won't have to go to prison for his crimes, and certainly a lot of folks responding to this, including Utah's U.S. Senator Mitt Romney. Not mincing words in his tweet to Roger Stone's prison sentence. It was a tweet in reaction to what happened yesterday. Quote, unprecedented, historic corruption. An American president commutes the sentence of a person convicted by a jury of lying to shield that very president. New tonight, a teen is shot and a suspect at large following a shooting overnight at an extended stay hotel. Now, we're told the shooting happened just before 3:30 a.m. at the Extended Stay America Hotel in West Valley City. Police arrived to find 45 people fleeing the party. 4 were arrested. Police say they weren't involved in the shooting. The teen was taken to the hospital, we're told, is expected to be okay. This investigation, though, does continue. Coming up, officials at Zion are warning folks to stay out of the Virgin River after a dog died from toxic algae. More on what happened after the break.
Plus, looking outside here, and not much going on, obviously. The sun's gone down, but we're just continuing to build in our heat across southern Utah. A very hot-looking forecast next.
Welcome back. Happening right now, Utah Health Department officials are warning visitors and their pets, stay out of the Virgin River in Zion National Park. And here's why. Toxins from a harmful bacteria were found in the water. Last weekend, Zion National Park and Utah's Department of Environmental Quality, they received a report that a dog died after swimming in the North Fork area of the Virgin River. Park officials are now warning visitors and their pets, just stay out of the water. Some scary moments today. 2 hang gliders collided while gliding above Traverse Mountain this morning. The call came into dispatch around 8:15 a.m. That's according to Sergeant Spencer Cannon with the Utah County Sheriff's Office. Now, both gliders made a hard landing after this collision. One man received a head and hip injury. He was taken to the hospital. The other was able to walk away. Nobody else was hurt. Well, a community organization is working to get free bikes to kids who need it most. Today, the group Free Bikes for Kids Utah, they held a collection drive. The group says they fully sanitize the donated bikes, and instead of donating them directly to people, they donate to community organizations. Now, their mission is that every kid deserves to have a bike. These volunteers work with the donated bikes. They get them refurbished with the goal of getting them where they are needed most.
It's impossible to be against this. You're getting a bike to a kid that wouldn't otherwise have a bike. You're keeping stuff out of a landfill. It brings the community together.
And if you want to donate, the group has 2 more Saturday morning donation events at 2250 South Main Street. Those 2 events are on Saturdays in July. So if you want to drop off a bike or volunteer, the group says they can always use your help.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Adam Carroll, Weather Rate certified 9 years in a row.
Adam, are you a cyclist, my friend?
I'm not. Maybe casual at times, but overall, it was a nice day to be out on bike. It was hot, and you definitely felt it, and I hope you stayed hydrated and stayed cool as possible. We did get to 98 here in Salt Lake, but you could see here this evening on that sunset, it may have been a pretty nice little night to take a little stroll on your bike in your neighborhood or along our city streets. But overall, Keith Vaught caught the sunset here from the Great Salt Lake. Beautiful oranges on those skies out there this evening. And it really kind of almost showed how hot it was today. We saw that 98 in Salt Lake, 99 Elko, 111 in Vegas, 123 in Death Valley. That's the hottest place in the Continental 48. 108 in Page and 104 in Moab. Now the rest of the region, 99. When it's 99 degrees for your high in Cedar City, it is hot across southern Utah. 106 in Hanksville, 91 Rock Springs, 86 Ely, and 98 even in Blanding. And we're still hot. We're just a smidge under 100 right now in St. George. 90 in Green River, 84 in Salt Lake, 93 Moab. We're going to be hotter by just a touch tomorrow across southern Utah, believe it or not. And we still have a little bit of cloud cover here kind of moving through portions of the western side of the state. And then isolated storms that occurred earlier today are moving east, and really things are starting to settle down. We've got mainly just cloud cover out there, but you can see we had some activity here not too long ago across Lake Powell, which was a little bit active out there today. You saw probably some choppy waters if you're around the Lake Powell area. Outside of that, it's pretty quiet now, and you can see that we're going to quiet things down overnight. We'll pick it right back up tomorrow with some more isolated dry thunderstorms a little higher up. You might see a passing shower. We have a cold front coming in here across northern Utah. That'll keep a breeze going both in northern and southern Utah, and it will also keep the isolated storms going through the next couple of days, and that will raise our fire risk, but it's going to get really, really gusty on Monday across southern Utah, and that's not good news. But we also have that isolated thunderstorm risk tomorrow across eastern Utah, and that can spell trouble for new fire starts. 97 is going to be the high in Salt Lake, 99 in Provo, 99 in Dugway, 89 in Manila. We have those isolated thunderstorms here across portions of eastern, central, southern Utah, but not so much in northern Utah tomorrow. But 111 in St. George. How about that? That will be one of the hotter days we've seen in quite some time around St. George. Then 110 Monday with very gusty winds. That will really create critical fire danger for Dixie. And then we're looking at mostly sunny skies for the most part across southern Utah as well. For the Wasatch Front, we'll cool things down over the next couple of days here to 88 Tuesday, keep the breeze around most of the week, and then right back up after this cool front comes by. And unfortunately, just not a lot of wet weather in the forecast.
Well, you'd think not a lot of wet weather would mean great time to go out and watch sports, but I don't know. It's a weird time to be a sports fan, right, Wes?
It is. And those temperatures in St. George kind of look like your golf scores, Nick. Utah Jazz talk about playing in front of no fans, while the Real Monarchs let fans into Rio Tinto Stadium to watch their match today in person. We'll show you what happened when we come back with sports.
Time now for ABC4 News Sports with Wesley Ruff.
Professional soccer matches have been going on here in the state of Utah, but unlike the NWSL Challenge Cup out in Harriman, the Real Monarchs game welcomed fans in to watch in person at Rio Tinto Stadium today against San Diego. They said they would allow about 5,300 fans in, but less than 1,000 showed up. Those that were there, though, were loud. Monarchs had a chance early in the game. Kyle Coffey passes to Vega, but shoots it over the net. No whistle on the contact. On the other end, James Slayton makes the stop, but the ball comes back to the San Diego team. The Monarchs get the break as the shot is off. Corner kick for San Diego. Grant Stoneman gets the head on it, scores the goal. So San Diego takes the 1-0 lead. The Monarchs with a chance to respond. Kyle Coffey gets his foot on it, but hits the crossbar, hits the ground close to the line. No call on the goal by the officials. Looked like a goal. Second half, San Diego gets a ball past Slayton, but Coffey's there to clear it just before it crosses the line. And with time winding down, James Moberg throws the ball in. Someone gets a head on it, hits a San Diego player inside the goal, but the refs didn't signal a goal. Monarchs can't believe it. Second goal taken away. Gee, San Diego ends up winning it over the Real Monarchs by a score of 1-0. Meanwhile, the Monarchs parent club, Real Salt Lake, is in Orlando, waiting to play its first game of the MLS's back tournament. Real will take on Colorado tomorrow night at 10:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 our time. RSL had a late night practice to get used to it, but with the heat and humidity in Florida, it's not necessarily a bad thing to play late.
It was really pleasant. It was nice. It was nice. I mean, the humidity, you're still going to sweat a lot more than back home. Actually, you sweat back home a lot, but it dries up quick. But but it was good. The intensity of the guys was great, so it didn't affect us too much at that point.
It is a little unusual, and for me, it's more of like a physical thing, kind of getting mentally ready and making sure your body's ready to play that late. But again, at the end of the day, it's soccer, and I'm sure once we get out on the field and get in that environment, everything will just start clicking, and things will get back to normal, and the soccer will come out.
I think it's going to be tough still, but it's more mental than anything else. I think we were lucky to get that not saying the 10:30 time is easy to play because it changes a lot of things, but I think the weather's pleasant at that time.
The Utah Jazz also in Orlando. They held another practice today as they continue to get ready for the restart of the NBA season. Now, the Jazz started the season with a lot of new faces, but they were able to gel pretty quickly. And now as they get ready to start again, they feel like they are further ahead.
I coached our team a little bit like a younger team. And looking back on that, I may have done it a little differently. But this time, we did do it differently, in that we have, especially, our veteran guys are more familiar with what we want to do. So we don't have to spend as much time, I think, connecting guys or habits and things like that. So we've just tried to really play.
A new team, everybody had to, take time to gel together. But I think now, coach has adapted to the way, everybody play, missing Bojan, having to adjust, the way we play, our style. But I think coach is adapting, a way that helps us out and, play more freely, but still have a lot of structure the way he wants us to play.
On the PGA Tour today, the first of 2 straight events held at Muirfield in Ohio. Justin Thomas having a great year so far. This is the birdie putt. Brains it. He had the lead. Victor Hovland with a birdie putt from distance. Sneaks this one in the back door. Watch it curl around and dive in the hole. He shot a 66. He's 14 under through 3 rounds. Ian Poulter out of the bunker. This is a way to not putt. He just chips it in for the birdie out of the sand. Thomas has the lead, though. Shot a 66 today. He's 16 under par, leads by 2 heading into tomorrow's final round. And getting back to the Utah Jazz in Orlando, the NBA has said that Disney World is going to open up some of the rides on a limited basis for the NBA players who are there in the bubble, so they get to go ride rides free.
So they get to go.
Not stand in lines.
Tough.
Awesome.
Golf courses, I know you're a big golf guy. Are they doing well right now? You never know what's going on with COVID.
Almost every golf course. We talked to Craig Norman, the head pro down at Hobble Creek Golf Course, had their busiest May and June. Soldier Hollow, same thing. They're just killing it.
I sort of figured it would be that with folks needing to go somewhere and golf always being popular in the summer. Okay, thanks, Wes. And we will be right back after the break. Pet photos. We know you got them, and they're probably taking up most of the space on your smartphone, let's be honest. Today's your day to share them. It's National All-American Pet Photo Day, and if you're wondering, who are all these photos of? It's a special day for us because these are our ABC4 family furry friends, and of course you can share them with the world, your own dogs and cats as well. So we know they're vital parts of your family, the more you know, and we want to keep rolling, so everyone who sent their pet photos in gets a chance to see them. The hashtag All-American Pet Photo Day is what's going on online. You know, I forgot to submit my photo. Can you see that? That's a little crouton. He made an appearance on TV once. A hot day for pets, though, huh, Adam?
Very hot. Never leave them in cars. We'll talk at 111 in St. George.
All right, thanks, Adam. Have a great night.